Hey guys, this is my 16-week update. Um, for first, okay, again, I'm sitting in my car. Really the only times that I have to do this alone are like before I get my daughter off the school bus, so that's what I'm doing. If you can't tell, I am still sick. This is ridiculous. Like, I've been sick. Oh my God, I've been sick for over a week and it keeps changing. Like, it started off with, I had a little fever and like a cold type, and now it's plugged, my ears are plugged and my nose is stuffed. I'm so over it, but I'll manage. Anyway, so this update is maybe gonna be trying to make it short, because I've got to get down to the bus stop here in a minute. I'm sitting in my driveway. But I have a lot to say. So first, I had two appointments this week. My first one was on Tuesday, and that was my very first cervical ultrasound check at the MFM's office. And so they actually decided that since they haven't seen the baby on ultrasound in a while at Hurley at my MFM, that they would do a quick measurement of the baby and everything. So they did that first, and then they did the cervical ultrasound, and then they went back and looked again. And I noticed that while she was doing the ultrasound on the baby, she was spending a really long time looking. And I wasn't sure at what. It wasn't the heart or the brain or anything, because right now that's still immature enough that they don't want to measure all that as much. They'll do that at the 20 week. And so she says to me, your cervix is fine. Like, she even pushed on it to make sure it wasn't funneling or opening. When she pushed, it was like putting stress on it. And it's at a 4, which is normal. So she says to me as she's doing the ultrasound, just having trouble finding where the cord is inserted. And then she says, it looks like your placenta is curled at the ends a little. I'm going to go grab the doctor in between consults. Let me tell you, if you didn't know this, my last pregnancy ended, obviously most of you know this, at 22 weeks. Not exactly sure why. There was an infection, but I also they had trouble finding where the cord was inserted into the placenta with that pregnancy. So that scared me a lot. So when she left the room, she told me to go change. I started crying in the bathroom. My husband's like, why are you crying? They didn't say anything. I'm like, they just told me that my placenta's curled. Like, your placenta is not supposed to curl on the edges. It's supposed to be flat, and that's the thing that's basically keeping the baby alive right now. We don't want a problem with the placenta. So anyway, so the doctor just comes to the door with the ultrasound tech, and he just sticks his head in, and he said, at 16 weeks, it's too soon to really say, what's going on with the placenta. He said everything is fine, stop worrying, don't cry, blah blah blah. So I left, and of course the rest of the day was very stressful with a lot of Googling. I know that's bad, but you can't help it. So I Googled curled placenta, and it came up as circumvallate placenta. Apparently that's the technical term for it. So what it is when your placenta implants deep, like at implantation, and there's some kind of band formed. Basically, you're not using your whole placenta, and the risks of it are like low birth weight, premature birth, low amniotic fluid, and placental abruption, which is very scary. So lucky for me, I had an ultrasound the next day, or not an ultrasound, an appointment with one of my regular OBGYNs. This is the one that I had never met before. So I actually called the night before, the day that I had the MFM scan, and I went and I called my regular nurse and I talked to her and I cried. And she's like, I am so sorry. Like, it's not, she said, it sounds so scary, but we've never seen someone with, like, yes, it could happen, like some of these risks, but she said, like, I've been working a long time, and usually they don't even catch that somebody has a circumvalent placenta until after the birth, when the placenta comes out, because most people don't have the high-tech scans that they do at the MFM. And they basically, like, they will do growth scans toward the end to make sure the baby's growing okay. Just another thing to add to my list of, like, scary stuff, and they aren't 100% sure it's a possible circumvalent placenta. They aren't sure they're going to look again at the 20-week, but it probably is. They did ease my mind. I met with the doctor, and she was very nice, and she did ease my mind. She said the same thing. She's like, I know you're scared because of what's happened to you. She's like, I've really never seen hardly, like, any complications from a circumvalent placenta, and like I said, most people don't even know they have one because they're not detailed enough ultrasounds to catch that. So lucky me, I get to know ahead of time. I won't know for sure till the 20-week ultrasound, which is in 4 weeks. But as of right now, I'm still nervous. And then another thing that's making me nervous is that the baby's heart rate is really high. And I know people will say, oh, that's a girl, it means a girl. Well, I have girls. Every child I've had has been a girl, and my girls did not have heart rates this high. This baby's heart rate has, as of recently, been like 165 to 170. And that seems awfully high to me. Like, my girls were like 140s, 150s, maybe 160 at the most at certain points. But I was just a little worried about the heart rate, and they did mention it, but they didn't say it was like a bad thing. So everything else on the baby looked perfect. Everything's measuring good, and the fluid, like, is normal, like the fluid count, which is good. So I'm not looking for, like, sympathy, like, oh, I'm so sorry, because this is not, I am convinced this baby is coming home with me. I just have so many hurdles to get over. If any of you have had a circumvalent placenta or know someone that has, just let me know, because I've found nothing but good, like, personal stories online, but when you read the medical websites, it's a little scary. And one other thing, my thyroid has gone back. It's a 2 now. My TSH is 2, which is good, because, like, that had been really low. And also, I got my first progesterone shot for preterm labor this week, and it did not hurt, and it was fine. And I get one every week now till 35 weeks. So yeah, things are going good. Excuse me. But I am a little nervous about this whole situation. So I appreciate, like, the prayers and the personal stories. Like I said, I do not want sympathy. I do not want people to say, oh, I'm so sorry, because this is not going to take my baby. It's not. I'm just very nervous because of everything that we've been through. So anyway, I will make an update at the end of next week for my 17 weeks, and I will talk to you guys then.